Hi, this is James Garner Autor Live here with the final book review in the Moreau series. The book I will be talking about today, Fearful Symmetries Fearful Symmetries: The Return of Noor Rajar by S. Andrew Swann. And this is an awesome cover, and this is actually a scene that happens later in the book, so I like that covers that have scenes that happen in the book. Okay, this is published by Dawn, and this was published in April of 1999. This book was really good. It turned out to be a lot better than I expected it to be. As I take back what I said in my Spectres of the Dawn review, as I thought this book was not going to be that good. I was wrong, and I'm glad this novel proved me wrong. This book is a lot better than I expected it to be, and what a perfect way to end off this series. Part of me still kind of wishes that S. Andrew Swann would do another book in the Moreau series, but this is a perfect way to end off the series with a knockout like this. It had a lot of action, a lot of tense moments, well-written layered characters, some recurring characters, and some new faces too. And the one thing I really like about this series is the whole world of the Morel series. It's like this, like RoboCop, Demolition Man, Johnny Numeric, combined with like Deus Ex and mixed with animal people in it, which I really like. I just love the whole setting of this like alternate world in this book takes place in, and the fictional weapons and vehicles and other high tech stuff, and a bunch of other stuff I really liked too. I think throughout this book series, there's the AT&T that people use for comms to make like vid calls and stuff like that, which I kind of wish was real. I wish we had like vid phones and stuff in real life, but I really enjoyed this book. It was definitely an improvement over the third book, and Esther Swann just made many improvements to this final novel, and avoided repeating the same thing in his third book. So this was a step in the right direction for this final book in the series. Overall, this is just it's an excellent book, and I definitely recommend you, like, if you're curious about this series, to get the Morel series. You definitely will enjoy it. Maybe some people may like that third book more than I do, but it's an excellent series, and this is a really good author. You should check out Esther Swann. He deserves more credit, as he's, to me, an author that gets overlooked by many others. And this guy can write really good stories. He writes all kinds of genres: action, science fiction, fantasy, cyberpunk. I don't know if he does horror or not, but he does write a lot of genres. All right, onto the book review. Plot: Nohar Rajar, living alone in the wilderness of Sierra in Nevada, has avoided human and Morel contact for 7 years. Out hunting for deer in the freezing winter, armed with a bow that's equipped with a scope, he wounds his prey and chases after the deer, then jumps on top of it and bites into its neck, killing it. He drags home his prey while enjoying the scenery around him. Despite being strong, however, he's 40 years old, with his right knee acting up, along with his back, and eyesight isn't what it used to be. But as he reaches his cabin, he smells a human in the area. Waiting for him in a black suit with a silver Jaguar air car parked next to it is Charles Royce, a lawyer from LA. Norhart dislikes lawyers but invites him inside. Norhart's cabin has no electricity, an old water pump, a large bed and table with the biggest chair, foot locker, and a fireplace. Charles offers Norhart a job to find Manuel, a leopard Morel who worked for Compton Bensheim Clinic, has disappeared while on his way to work. Charles offers a large sum of money to Norhart if he takes the case, along with giving him a RAN card for more information. But Norhart refuses, stating he's retired and doesn't take cases from humans, as Charles refuses to reveal who hired him and orders Charles to leave. He does, but leaves Norhart the photo of Manuel and the RAM card. Norhart is awakened in the middle of the night. At first he sees nothing and only hears the howling wind outside, but senses danger looking in the dark forest outside. Suddenly, an explosion goes off, causing Norhart to fall out of his bed as his cabin begins burning, followed by another explosion, causing his bow to fall off the wall. Norhart retrieves it, but is only able to get 2 arrows as his quiver is out of reach. Breaking through the wooden boards, Norhart crawls into a secret tunnel he dug out years ago. Reaching the surface, Norhart wastes no time as he quickly finds where his attacker is and shoots an arrow at him while running through the freezing cold naked. Norhart jumps into a tree to avoid gunfire as bullets zoom by him. When he reaches the intruder, he's a human wearing all black camo gear, night vision goggles, and body armor. He is armed with a Colt Special Optics rifle that fires 10mm caseless. It also has a flash suppressor. Norhart takes the rifle and goes to get answers from the intruder, but has slipped on ice after getting hit in the arm by Norhart's arrow and has broken both his leg and neck. Using the Colt rifle, he takes out the hit squad and flees. Reaching a highway by morning, Norhart goes to a rest stop and contacts his ex-wife, Stephanie. At first, Norhart has trouble contacting her as the old comm service has gone out of business, but he finally gets a hold of her. It's been 7 years since he last seen Stephanie, who looks older, still looks beautiful when he first met her. Norhart asks if she has his locker key card and needs a lift. 2 hours later, she shows up in a gray Mercedes-Benz. She gives him an earthquake football sweater and pants as she refuses to let him ride naked in her car. They have a short yet uneasy conversation. Stephanie reveals she now works at Public Rim Media. Once in LA, she takes him to an abandoned airport and orders Norhart out of the car. Once inside, Norhart finds his locker and opens it. In it is his old clothes and trench coat he used to wear, his wallet, and still in its holster his Vindy 12mm combat rifle and a pair of old sneakers. Norhart calls an auto cab to pick him up. When it shows up, it's an old dent Chrysler Aero bus. It's cramped inside as the floor is covered in empty beer cans, candy wrapper, and even used condoms. It smells like a garbage can. Norhart has it take him to Compton, a Moreau town that's crawling with mostly Spanish and Mexican-speaking rats and rabbits, but a few other Moreau species do live there. When the autocar reaches the highway with cars speeding by it, Norhart looks out the window to see the urban jungle he's about to enter in. After the riots, half of LA has changed, with many destroyed buildings bulldozed down and the land left abandoned into grass fields or changed into shanty towns mostly made up of morels or humans. The other side of LA is all concrete and glass. However, Norhart's ride is cut short as the autocar refuses to go any further into Compton and takes off, forcing him to continue his trip on foot while being stared at by rats. Norhart reaches a hotel and spends the night there. Angered that his peaceful life has been ruined, he plans to track down Charles and find out who hired him along with the case about Manuel. However, Norhart is unsure if the hit squad attacked him was because he refused to take the case or they believe he did. The next day, Norhart finds Charles' office in Beverly Hills, then rents a GM Maduro sedan. Once inside the urban jungle, as it's totally different from Compton, with its fancy high-rise buildings and mansions, brightly colored vehicles, and humans and morels wearing flashy outfits. When Norhart reaches Charles' office, he takes out his Vindy 12 out of the holster and hides it under his trench coat and gets out of his GM Maduro. Walking towards the front entrance, a tall, muscular guard lets him inside and is greeted by Charles' assistant, Sarah Henderson, a young and beautiful-looking foxwoman. Norhart wants to speak with Charles about the case. He wanted to hire him, but Sarah states he's gone for a week. But she reveals his home address. Norhart leaves and goes into the neighborhood of Neo-Turo buildings. But as Norhart enters inside Charles' home with his Vindy 12 drawn, he finds Charles dead as he's been tied down to his own kitchen table, with chunks of flesh have been removed from his arm, legs, chest, and even face. To make matters worse, Norhart hears sirens outside as the place is surrounded by cops. They began open firing with machine guns as Norhart dives for cover. The police then send in helicopter-like drones armed with SMGs. Norhart takes out 2 of them and runs into the garage as they fire gas grenades. With his eyes begin to water, Norhart notices that the Jaguar aircar has bulletproof windshield. He hotwires the BMW, then sets it to drive out at full speed. Opening the garage door, he hurries over to the Jaguar and takes cover. The cops open fire on the BMW, pumping bullet holes till it crashes. Norhart then floors it out of the garage once the cops realize he wasn't in the BMW and begins shooting at him. He activates the fly mode as the Jaguar aircar nearly clips someone's estate while trying to avoid hitting palm trees. Norhart drives the Jaguar aircar into the swamplands and crashes in the water. Kicking out the windshield, he swims through the murky water and takes cover behind ruins of the old buildings mixed with the thick trees. While hiding, Norhart spots 2 choppers hovering over the wreckage of the Jaguar. One is a LAPD, the other is a black unmarked helicopter. This could mean only one thing. It's the feds. Nohart believes the hit squad was a Black Ops feds unit sent to take him out. But who killed Charles? Nohart swims away into the wooded area, kicking off his shoes as his wrist comm is destroyed. Only his Vindy 12 and a few magazines of ammo and his binoculars with a built-in camera are the only things to survive the wreck. Nohart makes his way back to Hollywood and uses the alleyways and back streets to avoid unwanted attention. He then goes to Charles' office to get answers from Sarah, but stays at a safe distance knowing the cops are looking for him. Sure enough, his binoculars spot an unmarked car hiding in the darkness. When Sarah leaves the office and is about to get into her car, suddenly the unmarked car pulls in as men rush over and break inside her car attempting to kidnap Sarah. Nora rushes in and kills the men and helps Sarah. Getting inside her BMW, Sarah tells him that Charles' death has been over the news and they believe he's the killer. Nohart replies he didn't kill him as he's been set up. They ditch her BMW into a parking garage knowing it has a tracking device on it and flee onto a subway. While laying low in a Mexican all-you-can-eat diner in the area of LA, with more morels than humans, Sarah thinks she could go to the police about this, but Nohart disagrees as it would only make matters worse. Sarah then fears her client that hired him might be in danger and goes to call her. Nohart falls and discovers it's his ex-girlfriend Maria, and Manuel is his son. When they visit Marie in her apartment, she's in a wheelchair as age has affected her legs badly. She also reveals that she was pregnant at the time she left Nohart back in Cleveland. Sarah confesses she was the one who hired Charles to pay Nohart to find his missing son while working with Maria. Manuel was working as a shipping clerk and had a few friends but was making good money at the Compton Renschrein Clinic and not once did he miss his shift. Until 2 weeks later when he disappeared. Both Marie and Sarah don't know why Manuel has been kidnapped and who this hit squad is. While looking outside the apartment with his binoculars, he spots a black van and believes they are being watched. He goes to check the van with his Vindy 12 at the ready, only to find the van empty, but inside he finds a computer setup with a lot of spying gear inside. Nohart's worst fears come true. They've been watching both Manuel and Maria. He rushes back into the apartment and tells them they have to leave. Suddenly, a large black helicopter lands in the parking lot. Looking through his binoculars, Nohart snaps a few photos of the hit squad as their leader, a tall, heavily built black man he dubbed Scar, is coming after them. They leave the apartment room and hide in a neighbor's room. Sarah calls a friend for help as they hear the hit squad looking for them outside. Then the power is cut and sirens are racing towards the apartment. The hit squad flees before the police show up. The next day, they sneak out while the Moreau residents are angry about last night as police tried to keep the peace as news stations filmed this event. They visit a friend of Maria and plan to lay low there. Nohart contacts his friend Bobby for help. With not much to go on, Nohart plans to visit Compton Ramshrine Clinic to uncover the truth. After dyeing his fur to make himself look like a jaguar, Nohart disguises himself as an employee and goes to the clinic. Once inside, Nohart begins looking around for anything unusual. He notices one of the employees, a kangaroo named Oxford Nathan, is sneaking out packages and follows him to his shady apartment complex. Nohart sneaks in and waits for him to return home and holds him at gunpoint. He reveals that he's sneaking out drugs to sell on the black market for extra cash and knew Manuel was doing the same but with electronic equipment and RAM cards. The last day he saw Manuel, he had taken a large envelope believing it had something very valuable on his paw hands. Nohart is about to make a shocking discovery that puts all Morel's lives in danger and must stop a commando squad hell-bent on keeping the truth from being exposed to the public and find his missing son. Fearful Symmetries was a gripping sci-fi thriller that kept me on the edge of my seat while trying to piece together this deadly conspiracy. With a cast of returning characters from the first novel along with some new faces, there were characters I liked and others I despised, especially the more ruthless and pure evil scumbags within this novel. Very well written with many scenes of detailed scenery of the wilderness to the urban jungles of LA, and even some scenes in the Arizona deserts. I also like the mixture of decaying areas mixed with the high-tech places with old and new technology, fashion, weapons, vehicles, and other high-tech toys. Lots of action, shootouts, and graphic violence that kept getting better by the minute. Well-crafted and layered characters throughout this novel, Nohart has always been one of my favorite characters in the Moreau series. A very tough yet smart and kind person living in a dark, cruel world. Seeing Nohart getting older and his many health problems really made me care about him as I wanted to see his character get the treatment he needed and not suffer anymore. While I was annoyed how Stephanie was a jerk in the beginning, but towards the end becomes helpful in the end. I also like we get to know more about Nohar's ex-girlfriend Maria along with his friend Bobby. I really despise Scar, aka Crystalline, a ruthless merc hellbent on killing off a whole race of Moros for his own gain and sick twisted views of the world. It was nice seeing him get what he deserved after all the horrible things he has done. And for once, there was no mention of the aliens that were brought up in the last novel, as Fearful Symmetries focuses on a different plot, which was a step in the right direction and delivers a very satisfying ending. And there wasn't there wasn't anything I disliked with the novel, as there wasn't any unwanted filler or subplots. The story gets straight to the point and doesn't waste any time. Overall, I highly recommend Fearful Symmetries: The Return of Nohar Rajar. It's a great action-packed sci-fi thriller that wraps up this wonderful series, filled with characters you come to love and hate, with many twists and turns that will keep you on the edge of your seat. You won't be disappointed. And that is the review today. Hope you enjoyed it, and I was really happy to wrap this series up on time, as I was reading a lot this week, so I'm glad to get this series done on time. And a little backstory about this book. This is actually the first book I read in the Moreau series. Years ago, my dad, me and my dad, we like to go up to Southampton on vacation, and when I was, I can't remember the age I was, but I think I was like, oh man, I can't remember what year this was in. But one time we went to Southampton. There's a convenience store. We had to get some things there, and I was looking at the book rack, and there's like this spindle of books, and I was looking through them, and this cover stood out to me. I said, "Whoa, this is really cool." So I showed my dad this, and he asked, "Do you want it?" I said, "Yeah." So he bought it for me, and I read it, and I really liked it. So it was fun reading this book again. This is an author that deserves more appreciation. He's a really good writer. He writes a lot of good books. I have never read one bad thing by him, and he deserves more appreciation. And this series too needs more recognition, because it's a really good series. I did see that he has recently reprinted this series. It's a it's a new Morel. It's like a new series, but it's the older books. So the first book has Forest of the Night, and then it has this one with it together. He has not. I guess he's going to reprint the other two together. Emperors of the Twilight and Spectres of the Dawn together. So, but I don't know when he's going to do that. But as I said earlier, you can either get all four books as standalone paperbacks, or you can get the Omnibus edition, which has the first three, and then get this one to complete the series. It's up to you how you want to do this. But this was an excellent series, and I had a lot of fun reading it. Definitely a lot better than that shitty Doom series I read a year ago. Okay. All right. That's sort of the review today. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will now begin get started with my next series I have planned, the Summer Slaughter 2 series. And oh, fuck it, why not? This will be the first book I'll be reading in the Summer Slaughter 2 series, Gone South by Robert McCandon. I heard this is a really good book, so I decided to start with this one to get some Robert McCandon books on my channel. So I'll be starting with that, and I will begin reading fantasy books as well. Fantasy and some post-politics stuff, as I decide to add another genre to my review. So now I got like 4 genres of books I'm reading. So now I'm reading like either like fantasy, urban fantasy, then action, science fiction, and horror. So just to kind of like just get more books right off my shelf, as I got a lot to go through, and I will begin reading some graphic novels too. I plan to do as well in July, and I will definitely be doing some more top list videos in July too. All right. That's it for the video today. Hope you enjoyed it, and please don't forget to check out October Library, the Facebook group, and the YouTube channel of the same name, a place to post, share, and review fiction. Until then, I'll catch you later.